Hi, it's Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm playing with some new cosmetics from M. I almost picked these up in August, but August was a rough month for me and I completely missed the launch of the Pillow Plush Blushes. So I got both shades of that. But what kind of prompted this was they released 3 new shades, and I'm kicking myself I didn't get the 3rd shade, of their Soft Spoken Velvet Lip Cream. I have fallen in love with this formula. I think it is so beautiful. It's so easy to wear. It's so low maintenance, and I love that about it. And I was hoping for deeper and less warm colors, and I feel like that's what I got with the 2 new shades. So I will swatch all of the Soft Spoken Velvet Lip Creams that I have for you, but let's start by throwing on some blush because I feel like I need some. All right, so what's interesting about this formula is that it's a mixture of a gel, a cream, a powder, and it's supposed to have a really kind of fluffy, soft, pillowy texture to it, hence the name Pillow Puff. But I'm just looking at it. There are 2 shades. One is a kind of a beigey peach shade, and that's this one here. This one is Peanut. And then their cool shade is called Tickled. And obviously brand new, haven't stuck my finger in either one of these, but I'm so curious. I think what I want to do is I'm going to start with this one here in Peanut, and let's just swatch it. Ooh, you know, this kind of reminds me, as I'm kind of running my finger over it, I know I could probably leave like a deep gouge in here and I don't want to, but it's really interesting texture wise. This reminds me of the feeling of, say, like a Super Shock eyeshadow. If you have the new Danessa Myricks Groundworks Defining Neutrals palette, her Velvet Pomade, that's really what this feels like. So this is the shade Peanut and this is Tickled. I think you can build both of these up. I'm really intrigued by this. What's interesting to me is this makes 4 different types of formulas for M for blush. They have their kind of baked powder blush, their Heaven's Glow blushes. I have so many of those. They have their serum blush, their kind of liquid blush. They have their So Soft blush sticks. And now they have these kind of pillowy ones. I think it's really interesting that we have a brand that has, you know, like their lip gloss and their lip liner and their So Soft liquid lipsticks. But that's like only one of each type of product, a gloss, a lipstick, and a liner, but we have 4 different formulas of blush. I think that says a lot about maybe Michelle's love for blush, but I also love how different these are to so many other things. They don't quite feel like the Maybelline Bouncy blush. Do you remember having those? I'm gonna start putting some on. I think I'm gonna start with a little bit of Peanut. And if you want like the lightest application, they come with these cute little finger puffs. I don't know, we'll try it, but I don't know that I'm gonna get a very good application of this. But I'm gonna pick some up here on this puff. This is gonna be like the lightest application, okay? And we'll just tap some on. They say if you want kind of like medium coverage to use your finger, and if you want something that's a little bit more pigmented, to use a brush. But I feel like that's actually really quite nice. I feel like this little teeny tiny mirror though, in a pinch I could make it work, but I don't get the full look of what this amount of blush is looking like with the rest of my face. I'm really surprised how easily this is going on with this little puff. I'm gonna take a completely clean brush at this point. I feel like I might wanna try and blend this in a little bit more. There's nothing on this. I feel like sometimes my blush gets a little too high on my cheeks or a little too low, so I'm just gonna try and blend this in here. The other thing I'm gonna do, because like, don't wanna try both of them, I do. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of Tickled. Now I know that normally I would either choose a warm or a cool blush, but I'm gonna pick up a little bit of this on this brush here. And then I'm just gonna kind of, ooh, wow, yeah. I feel like I might have gotten a little blush happy here. I always do when I'm trying a new blush. This has been 2023 has been the year of blush for me. I bought a lot of lip products, let's not say I haven't, but I can't believe how many blushes I have purchased, and just to buy 2 more, I have been like purchasing blush with wild abandon. I like the way this looks. What's interesting about this blush is now that I'm going over it, I'm not going over it like really heavy because I'm sure I would disturb it because it's a cream product, is it doesn't feel like it's luminous. It doesn't feel like it's, you know, got any sort of hydration or emollients to it, because I know that the So Soft blushes that come in the stick forms, let me grab one. This is the So Soft packaging for the blushes. They look like this. Even when you blend them out, they are matte, but I feel like they dry down, but they have a different feel to them. This almost feels like nothing on the skin, which is so interesting, but I can really see, even though it's been on there for a while, I'm still able to continue to blend. This is really interesting. It's a very different formula. If you were wondering the difference between their stick formula, their So Soft blushes, I feel like these are a little bit more pigment straight out of the gate. Both of these blend beautifully with no effort, and they can blend into, like you can see how beautiful the blend is here, to nearly nothing. But the same thing with the So Soft. I feel like this almost feels like nothing, almost like whipped air. Like, what is whipped air? I don't know. That's kind of what this feels like. And it's very different from their liquid serum blush. Those are beautiful, but they're very glowy. They're very dewy. They're very much like colored skincare, like skincare with like color in it, which is really beautiful. I feel like these guys are just a little bit on the easier side to use. This right here seems really intuitive. If you like to be able to just like stick your fingers in there, I feel like this is really easy to just, you know, do this. And this would be great for touch-ups because I don't feel like it's disturbing any of my foundation. It's not, you know, messing up any of the bronzer that I had down. I think that this is like really, really easy to use. Last fall, Em released the Soft Spoken Velvet Lip Creams. I have 4 from the original launch. I really, really like this formula. This formula has quickly become something that I go to on days when I want color, but I want it to be comfortable, and I want it to be easy, and I want it to be kind of like something I don't have to worry about. It's not high maintenance. It's just comfortable and easy. That's what I want. That's what I love in a product like this. So when they mentioned that they were launching new shades, I'm like, yes. And now I'm kind of kicking myself that instead of picking up 3 new shades, because they launched 3 new ones, I only got 2. All right, but I started wearing one of these. It came in the mail yesterday. I wore it all day yesterday, and I'm so happy they finally launched a red. You know my love for red lipstick. This shade is the shade Flirt. Oh my goodness, she's so pretty. But it's not like a candy apple red, a fire engine red. It's not a deep brick red. It's a super easy to wear red. And this formula, I love how pillowy soft. It's very cushiony. It's very nourishing. When my lips were starting to feel a little bit dry yesterday, another layer of this and I was perfect. So I'm gonna throw this one on first. This is the one I already know I'm in love with. Isn't this stunning? I love it. So this right here is Flirt. This is what it looks like on. The reason I had to have more of these is because they just feel, they feel so smooth. What's interesting is I feel like texturally when I stick my finger in this blush here, it's kind of velvety, it's soft, it's pillowy. That's the same sort of feeling I have on my lips. Now I know these are called the Soft Spoken Velvet Lip Creams, and that's like the perfect description. They are soft, they are smooth and velvety. I like that they're matte, but they're not drying. Now these are not going to be a transfer proof formula. You know, if you touch your mouth to something, a cup, someone's cheek, if you get your hair in your lipstick and you pull it out, you might have a small trail, but it's super easy to get rid of. I like how low fuss this is, and I really, really, really love that this does not feel like a high maintenance lip product. I wore this all day yesterday. I didn't need a lip liner. It is a little fuzzy and a little bit blurry, but I kind of like that. It looks like lived in lipstick. It's not like perfectly crisp lines. You can get it to do that if you use a lip liner with it, but I like this slightly blurry, you know, it's there, but it's not like crisp and perfect. I just really like this lived in look. I think it's great for a low maintenance lipstick. The next new shade I have is Hush. I haven't even cracked this one open yet, so I'm really curious to see what this looks like. Ooh, this is a really pretty color. All right, let's throw this on. This is totally a My Lips But Better color. I can see that already. Oh, this is stunning. I absolutely love this. This is exactly how I was hoping that this line of lip products would kind of expand. I needed a red and I wanted a My Lips But Better shade. And I know that that shade is different depending on everybody's natural lip color, but I wanted something that was on the pink side, but not too pink. I didn't want it to be too beige or too like brown or peachy. And I feel like a lot of the other ones that I have for them actually land a little bit more on the warmer side. Let me swatch the rest of them for you. This is the shade Tender. This is what it looks like on the lips. This is described as a terracotta rose. I get less rose and more terracotta from this, and I definitely prefer things that lean a little bit on the rosier side. So when they came out with the shade Hush, I was like, that's mine. This shade right here is called Intuition. It's described as a soft plum. As I'm looking at it, I don't know, not really. It kind of looks more like a deeper version of that terracotta rose shade. It's pretty, but I don't find as much, especially on my neutral skin tone, I don't find as much plum in there. This shade is Petal. It's described as a true rose. I don't know when I look at this if I'm thinking rose. I mean, it's a pretty color, and I'll tell you, out of the previous batch of 4 that I had, this was the one that I reached for the most. I really, really like this shade, but I feel like it is so similar to these other 3. They're all a little on the warm leaning side, which is why I'm so excited that the new shades aren't. I feel like I'm definitely going to be going back and picking up the deepest shade. It's called Wednesday, and it's kind of like a deep wine tone, and I wonder if it's kind of like Wednesday for Wednesday Addams. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. This last shade is called Flutter. It's described kind of like a strawberry shade. It's really bright, it's really punchy. I love this shade when I need a little bit of vibrancy in the middle of winter. I feel like sometimes I look a little bit like death warmed over. I'm like, I need something that's gonna wake my face up. And this shade certainly does it. These first 2 swatches are the new ones. This one here is Flirt. This one is Hush. Then there's Tender, Intuition, Petal, and Flutter. I feel like these guys here in the middle are so close. I'm glad that they're extending their range, that they put a red in it, and it's not a bright red. It's a really low maintenance, easy kind of, I don't know, almost brownie red. It's so easy to wear. And I love that they have a cooler tone shade. I was like craving that. What they had originally as their cool plum shade doesn't really read as plum to me. I don't know. And maybe they're not really bright, vibrant shades. They're more natural. They're a little on the earthier side, with the exception of Flutter and maybe Flirt. I feel like the rest of them, they're very much a different kind of approach to lip color. They're a little bit closer to maybe what our natural lip color would be. I think it'd be really likely that you would be able to find My Lips But Better shade. For me, it is the shade Hush. I'm so excited, so delighted about this. Thanks for watching. I am so excited about these guys. These guys like are super delighting. These Pillow Plush Blushes. Oh, they just really have me excited. I love how my cheek doesn't feel like dewy or like there's anything there. It feels like there's nothing on my cheek. I really like that. But I also always like playing in an interesting texture. Texturally, I feel like these remind me similar to the Super Shocks from ColourPop, to the new Danessa Myricks Groundwork palette, the velvet pomades in there, very similar to that. But they also definitely remind me of the Glow Play blushes from MAC. I've felt those before, as well as the Maybelline, you know, the Bouncy blush from like a decade or more ago. Super excited about the extended shade range for this. Now, I'll tell you, as September started, weather's getting cooler here. It was like 55 degrees today was the high. I was wearing a sweater. I've been craving matte lips, but I wanted to be easy. I wanted to be comfortable. So I'd already been pulling out the 4 shades that I already had. So when I saw they had an extension to the shade range, I was like, sold, done, send it to me. Here's my credit card number. And I really feel, and I'm so sad I didn't pick up Wednesday, I feel like there's a good chance I'm gonna be going back for that one. Here's where I'd like to know, are you a fan of M? My favorite thing is that they're not constantly like saturating, like new release, new release, new release. They're not pulling a ColourPop on us every week. Love that. I like that they really slow their roll, choose their products wisely, and introduce one interesting new thing to us at a time. Or here's a product you already like, let's give you more options. I really, really appreciate that about them. I also feel like their makeup aesthetic is very different from the rest of what's out there. It's very soft, it's very muted, it's very, you know, you, but in color, but it's not like rainbow you or spangled sparkly you. It's very, and I love the subtleties of it so much. Let me know, are you a fan of M? Have you tried these products? Did you pick up the new shades of the So Soft Velvet Lip Creams? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Have a great day.